Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, guys. So today I'm going to take this opportunity to teach you guys a bit about investing and how structured investments can give you a lot of returns, and sometimes अगर आप structured investments नहीं कर रहे हैं, so how that can turn out to be futile for you guys. And for this I'm going to give you example of the Bitcoin. जैसे कि आप सब लोगों को पता होगा, बहुत सारे लोगों को, कि बिटकॉइन जो है starting from 120 or 125k something, now down to 69k, almost lost 50% of what it achieved. But the big question is, and the big picture is, कि जब हम बात करते हैं कि जनाब आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट को ज़रूरत है चार चीज़ों की, right? That is, first is your time, then is your strategy, then is your patience, consistency. तो ये चार चीज़ें जो हैं, I will try to teach you all these four things through this chart behind me. This is a 5 years Bitcoin chart, and we will go back to the lifetime as well. But अगर हम इस 5 years chart की बात करते हैं, so somewhere back in 13 March 2021 इसकी जो प्राइस थी वो $61,190 थी, right? Then coming back ये 10 जुलाई 2031, यानी सिर्फ और सिर्फ 2 महीने के फ़र्क से, राइट? मार्च एंड देन इन जुलाई, अप्रैल मई जून जुलाई, 4 महीनों के बाद इसकी प्राइस 31,000, यानी इट लॉस 50% ऑफ इट्स वैल्यू विद इन द टाइम फ्रेम. नाउ व्हाई एम आई रेफरिंग टू टाइम? यू सी, जब मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि टाइम इन द मार्केट इज मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट देन टाइमिंग द मार्केट. सो लेट्स सी, लुकिंग एट दिस चार्ट, आप ये कह सकते हैं कि यार मैं यहाँ पे ख़रीदता और फिर मैं इस पिन पॉइंट के ऊपर 64,000 के ऊपर बेच देता तो मैं बहुत पैसे कमा लेता, और फिर मुझे जो है ये यहाँ पे जाके ख़रीदना चाहिए था मे बी, और यहाँ पे जाके ख़रीदना चाहिए था टू मेक श्योर टाइम, यानी जो सब $27,000 का हो गया था ये, और फिर मुझे जो है वो यहाँ पे जाके बेचना चाहिए था. एंड बट द प्रॉब्लम विद ऑल ऑफ दिस इज़ कि आपको पता कुछ नहीं था, यू डू नॉट नो अबाउट द फ्यूचर. तो इस सारे मसले का प्रॉब्लम ये है कि अगर तो आपको फ्यूचर का पता होता और आपको पता होता कि मैंने यहाँ पे इसको ख़रीदना है और मैंने 7 अक्टूबर 2023 को ख़रीदना है और फिर मैंने इसकी पीक पे जाके यानी कि 4 अक्टूबर 2025 को बेच दूंगा तो मैं बेतहाशा पैसे कमाऊंगा, राइट? प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमें फ्यूचर का पता नहीं है, और ये जब हम डिस्कशन करते हैं, व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस काइंड ऑफ ट्रेड्स एंड एक्टिवली बाय लो सेल हाई and all this trading, we hear all the time in the market, this is basically just the trap for you guys. Or 90% of the time, what happens is कि हम गलत trades करते रहते हैं throughout this time period. A lot of you who are watching this video, उन्होंने शायद इसको इस जगह के ऊपर ख़रीदा होगा, और फिर जब मार्केट नीचे गई है तो वो डर के यहाँ पर बेच लिया है. इसी तरह से बहुत सारे लोगों ने शायद 2023 की इस मार्केट में 16,000 रुपये में भी इसको ख़रीदा होगा, और 2023 में उसके बाद जब ये 1 जुलाई को 30,000 का हुआ है तो उन्होंने कहा यार बड़ा प्रॉफिट हो गया, बेच देते हैं, राइट? बट हु इज़ द एक्चुअल विनर, राइट? एक्चुअल विनर वो शख्स है जिसने इसको टाइम करने की कोशिश नहीं की. Rather, they spent a lot of time in the market, right? So timing the market is your enemy. And trust me, that is true. And this is why at Imlaq we're always trying to tell you कि जनाब आप मार्केट के अंदर अपनी चीज़ों को, अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स की टाइमिंग ठीक करने की कोशिश ना करें. I believe that is a huge trap which a lot of investors get stuck until and unless, so I'm not against timing the market. You have to be sure that you are an expert in that field. If you're not an expert in the field, then there is no point timing the market, right? And of course, right, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो इस मार्केट के अंदर एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, and then they are actually, they are able to do that, and even sometimes they lose. And usually the thing is, when I was doing this kind of trading, so the trick was that they are saying that every time you make a decision in this kind of a market, there's a 50% chance you're going to be right, and there's a 50% chance that you're going to be wrong. The only trick is that when 50% of the time you're right, you make more money then the 50% of the time you're wrong, losing that money. Basic आसान सलीस उर्दू में बात यह है कि 50% दफ़ा आप ठीक होंगे और 50 दफ़ा आप खराब होंगे. The main trick of the trade is that every time you make a decision about buying or selling your property, or for that example, or for that matter, Bitcoin, 50% of the time you're going to be right and 50% of the time you're going to be wrong because no one knows the future. बिटकॉइन स्पेशली और ये जो स्टॉक मार्केट्स हैं या फॉरेक्स है, ये पॉलिसी के ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा वोलेटाइल होती हैं, राइट. गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज, कल को एक्सचेंजेस बंद कर दें या गवर्नमेंट्स एकदम से कोई नेगेटिव पॉलिसी निकाले क्रिप्टो करेंसीज के अगेंस्ट, तो सर्टनली दीज मार्केट्स विल रिएक्ट टू दैट. सो हमें नहीं पता 24 घंटों में 48 घंटों में क्या होने वाला है. सो जो जितना मर्जी आप अच्छा सोचते हैं, यू डू नॉट नो द फ्यूचर. So the only trick to make money in this kind of market is that you make more money while your decision is right? That is 50% of the time. And you lose less money from that more money which you're making when you're wrong. So that is actually the trick of investing in these kind of, investments like Bitcoin, like Forex, even when it comes to stocks. So बहुत सारे लोग इस चीज़ को मिस कर देते हैं and they try to predict the market or they want to time the market and they look at the chart here, they will draw some silly kind of sketches and they will make some mathematical calculations. This is the pie and this is how it is going and have you forgotten, candle formations and all that crap. That is just stupid nonsense जो masses को जो है ना धक्का लगाने की तरह, शीप की तरह, हाँकने की तरह वो उसको ड्राइव करते रहते हैं. बट कुड यू हैव मेड मनी इन ऑल ऑफ दिस? यस. लेट्स अप्लाई आवर 4 core principles in the Bitcoin market and let's see, could we have made more money, right? So our first core principle is time in the market is better than timing the market. So if, let's suppose 5 years back, even if I purchased this Bitcoin at 61,000, right, on 13 March 2021, and I spent all this time over here not worrying about anything, what is going to happen? Today, if we talk about today, it is at 69,000. So, again, right, I'm proving myself wrong because this is so unpredictable that even time in the market is not really making us a lot of money. So what else to do, right? Okay, let's go for our max chart. So now this is the max chart. And now here we can consider that now actually, if we're talking about Bitcoin, the only real people who were very 100% sure who made money were the ones who somewhere invested in 2022. In 2020 or even before that, जब ये शुरू हुआ, right? This is 2016 charts and everything. So all those people who actually invested somewhere in 2022. So in order to understand our concept that time in the market is better than timing the market, let's go back and look at Bitcoin chart at even a bigger time frame. So अब हम जाते हैं at the maximum time frame and now we see कि 2020 में और 2016, 17, 20 ये तकरीबन एक जैसा रेट इसका रहा यहाँ पे 4-5 साल. और इस वक्त अगर किसी शख्स ने ये प्रॉपर्टी ख़रीदी होती और उसको जो है ये सारा उतार चढ़ाव कराते अगर आज भी आप देखते उस वक्त उसने ली 6,200 की, लेट्स सपोज 28 मार्च 2020 को इसका ये प्राइस थी और आज इसकी प्राइस जो है वो 69,636 है. So even then he has made a lot of money. The problem is decision किसने लेना, right? क्या उस वक्त आप ये सोचते थे कि ये यहाँ पे जाएगा? Now looking back at the chart, it is very easy to understand and believe that this could have been done. But back then, everyone was still, not very optimistic about Bitcoin. We were all scared. We were all worried. We thought that even 6,000, 7,000 is too much. It's, a currency which is just based on perception. So my point is that even in such a volatile environment, and I can still suggest you, right? Anyone who has purchased there, he can still continue to keep holding on. This will ultimately bounce back in not now, in few years, months, whatever, you know. It may come down to 30,000, who knows, right? So this is all the risk that is within this, market. But we're not discussing that risk right now. The point is, are you capable enough, smart enough, intelligent enough to have been able to predict all the moves Bitcoin has made over the years and made money from Bitcoin? Yes, a few out of you may have been lucky. They may have made some money. But how many of you have lost the money? How many of you have recently purchased the same thing just, a year back? How many of you have purchased it at 123,000? And how many of you are right now panicking at 61,000? Because right now, I can tell you what exactly is going on in your psychological mind, right? You know what's going on? You are scared that it's going to go down from 66,000. And this is exactly the fear which makes this market so much volatile, because you do not know. And what if it goes down? What if it goes down to 10,000 again? What if it stays there for the next 5 years? What are you going to do then? Because this particular thing, which is called Bitcoin, has, no physical value. It's a perception-based cryptocurrency. And if more number of people believe that it's going to go up, it's going to go up. More number of people going to believe it's going to go down, it's going to go down. It's completely speculative. So for all those people who are looking for shortcuts, my advice is that even if you want to invest and go there, just stick to the plan. And that plan, again, patience, right? And do not try to time this market. Anyone who tries to time this will lose. You can be very sure that it's top 50% of the value I can buy. But I just showed you from the charts, in the previous charts, we have seen that many times it has lost more than 3 times its value. So for example, here, if we go, so it's like 62,000 something somewhere in 2021, right? And if we go to the bottom, it is 22,000. So it lost 1/3 of its value. So it's very normal for Bitcoin to lose 1/3 of its value. And 1/3 of 120 should be somewhere around 40,000. So yes, there is a chance that it can come down to 140,000 only. So should you be buying at 60,000 or should you be buying at 40,000? And that is the dilemma I'm trying to explain to you guys. And this is exactly where physical assets like real estate, come into play. Because those assets are giving you some value. Even stocks are giving you some yields. So why they're always better for a normal person to invest in and to make more money, sustainable money, and secure money. But if you are still the kind of a risk taker that I am, yes, go ahead, be my guest. Be part of this volatile crypto and try to make as much money and try to get rich as quickly as possible. But, let's be sure, let's be, let me say that as a disclaimer, that I am not going to advise you to do that. And not because I don't believe you can make money, but because I know that 80 to 90% of the people are going to lose money. The same thing happened in gold. Everyone was buying gold. And then all of a sudden, somehow, somewhere, for some odd reason, some people started to take profit and the gold market started to crash a little bit. And now all of people are rushing to sell gold and so on and so on. And this repetitive cycle happens in real estate as well. It happens in stock markets. It happens in Forex. It happens in gold. It happens in cryptocurrencies, everywhere. Just that volatility is different. In real estate, we have seen the equity going to 150K, then going down to 30K. Again, the problem is not the asset itself, to be honest. The problem is our mindsets, right? What kind of a mindset we are bringing. And if we align that mindset again, as I was saying, like if you go there and if you were someone who liked to hold this property somewhere over here, right? So you bought it somewhere in 2016 and right here, and you were holding it, and you sold it over here. You made a lot of money, right? From here to here. Yeah, and that is patience. But how many out of us can say that we all have this kind of patience? How many out of us can say that during this time period, we thought of taking profit over here, and then we purchased it over here, and then we again, sold it over here because हमने यहाँ पे खरीदा था and फिर मार्केट नीचे चली गई. जब 2024 में इधर आई तो हमने कहा बेच देते हैं क्योंकि शुक्र है पैसे पूरे हो गए. So all these decisions which we do not consider and think about, they are actually not letting you make money. तो इसी वजह से अगर आपने you have the patience, you have the consistency, you know you can spend time in the market, right? You will make a lot of more money even in cryptocurrencies, right? If you have the holding power. If you are not worried about these charts, you're not worried about the volatility. If you're not worried that you purchase it at 16,000, 17,000, now it's 60,000, you don't give a damn about it, I'm pretty sure that eventually it may go up to 150K, 200K, maybe, 300K, no one can predict that. Or maybe it can just go down to being zero. No one knows, right? But as far as this present chart is concerned, it's clearly showing that anyone over here who purchased it at this point is still very, very safe over here. And that is certainly, again, that time in the market is better. And strategy, patience, and consistency will always pay. Even if it comes down, it will go up. That's for sure. So, guys, that was our basic for today. I hope जो है वो मैं आपको डराना नहीं जा रहा हूँ from cryptos or other things. The point is, I wanted to clear my point regarding how a market strategy can even help you guys if you are doing trading in cryptocurrencies or stock markets or forex, and how that mindset is important no matter what kind of asset you are investing in. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.